Alright, look forward to meeting the order. And the first thing is review and approve March 3rd, 2026 minutes.
Will we approve the minutes?
I'll second it. All in favor? And we will approve March 17th, 2026 warrant.
Approve the warrant as well.
Second it. All in favor? Alrighty. New municipal fire department discussion. Jake.
Yeah.
We're doing some work here.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of work. Hi, just so everybody knows, I'm Jake. I've been here for about almost 10 years now. Live up off the mountain road. I became the chief 2 months ago. 2 months ago.
Been
on the department since about almost 2 years now. So, trying to continue the growth the department's been doing, and in that, kind of visualizing some things that we are lacking, some things that we have done good, and some things that we obviously all need improvement on. One thing I have noticed in the last 10 years has been the conversation of a fire department has been brought up, but hasn't really come to fruition, or discussions either just die off, or it just hasn't been brought and continue to be brought forward. So, I've done some work. I like to play with this program called SketchUp, which is like a design program, allows you to design drawings and stuff like that. I've made a few concept ideas of buildings and fire departments. So that kind of is what started the conversation. Is okay, we did a study in 2022, as Bruce knows. That study was very clear in the fact that the departments we have, or the stations we have now, are almost 80 years old. They're not fitting all the trucks and equipment we have at this point. Trucks are only getting bigger. The new size of trucks is 10-1. Our building at West is 9-4. You can't make things fit like that. So, looking into this option of building a new station and how we can do it, and where we get the funding, how are we going to find grants or CDS funds from our congressman, and what that impact is going to be on the town as a whole and the citizens as a whole. My goal is obviously not to completely destroy our tax base, but to also, present to you guys that there is a real need for this. The department needed it for 20 years now. We've made do with what we have. We still continue to make do with what we have, but there's a safety factor, as well as come the next time we need to buy a truck, which is coming up in 2032, it doesn't fit the station. So then the conversation becomes a lot more difficult for everybody. Well, now we got this truck, but it doesn't go into the station. So, trying to nip that in the butt as much as we can, and move forward as quickly as we can. So that's my goal. I presented to the board a scope of work and, like I said, my basic design concept of the building, utilizing the study from 2022, as well as, basic general fire department needs and what NFPA and OSHA and all these other, regulatory programs tell us we need. So, that's where we're at right now. Very, very, very beginning stages. I am glad to talk about it and discuss how and where we go and what we're doing. There's discussions of, bonding, as an option that we can do in the town. A lot of towns do it. It's a low interest rate, financing that allows the town to finance over X amount of years, up to 30 years. And there's things we can do to offset that giant tax bill that we're gonna get. There's also, like I said, the CDS, Congressional Directed Spending, which, Susan Collins, I was just looking at some numbers a couple weeks ago, for 2025-2026 year, she has given $29.7 million to building fire stations. So she has been an avid supporter in helping fire stations grow, and she knows the need for it. So we do have options, depending on who is in office at the time. So, yeah, I mean, I met with a builder yesterday just to get an idea of what the process looks like. And the process the town would, or what I think the process the town should follow is we create an RFP that we then put out via MMA, Maine Fire Chiefs Association. It's a board. We can all throw it up onto, these municipal boards that anybody can look at. They can send their bids in. We can interview them. They go from there. That allows them to send us a rough quote of what they think X size building, X size width and height would give us. So my next step would be that, trying to figure out that process. Let's create an RFP that we can put out so that we can start the process of where do we go from here. Do we choose somebody to design build? A lot of these companies around here, that's what they're doing. You contract them to not only design but also build the building. We could go the route of finding a designer, having them build, design the building, and then putting the bid out to build the building. My only concern with that is at that point you're now separating the two processes, where you're hoping the designer understands fire stations and the concept, and then the builder understands the designer's concept. Whereas the design to build process is, it's one company working with their civil engineers, their structural engineers that they're contracted with forever. They've been doing it for years. And from what I asked her, there's 4 or 5 competitors in the fire station range here in this area. So there's options, but obviously there's your big builders and then your not so big builders. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the gist of where we're at right now. I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has them.
I've got a few.
Good.
For some reason, I don't know why, for some reason I got a few. Have you talked to Neil about the process lately?
I have not talked to Neil from your study specifically. I read the study, went through it, kind of analyzed the information that was in it, but I have not spoken with Neil yet.
The only thing I'm thinking in my mind is probably new things have come up since that study was done.
Right. I almost guarantee that.
No, I do too.
Yeah.
And I think you probably have read it and just listened to it, because I haven't talked to you before about this, but stuff's in my mind.
Sure.
That you got certain steps you gotta follow, but I think you realize that from where I'm hearing and talking.
Right.
Certain steps you gotta follow, and most of them are in that study.
Right. Which I have right here.
Yep. Well, you guys had jump drive at one time, and we still have it on.
I know it's online. I know it's on our website.
Is it?
The study is on the website.
Okay, well.
So if anybody wants to read
They can pull it
that
up there,
stuff.
so, but I know at one time I gave, selectmen the jump drive.
I've got a copy of it on my.
No idea, but there again, that way you can yourself else to keep up with it, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, keep up with it.
I got a hard copy too somewhere.
I mean, this isn't something to be lightly done.
Nope.
One other question I'm gonna ask you, because I know it's brought up to me a number of times, are you looking, how soon to be full-time?
Full-time? Well,
And you may not be able to answer that, but I know that was one thing.
right, I'm gonna answer it in a political way.
Roundabout.
Right now, Baldwin only does fire calls. We contract our EMS calls through Standish. So, right now, Baldwin has call volume that's roughly between 125 and 155. Depends year to year. This year, we were actually lower than that. Off years, things happen. I know the year before, prior, obviously that April storm we had thousands of calls, so it's what caused our influx, but, this year we had 100 calls even. Right now, we're on board to be up to 180 calls, just based off of what's been happening, this year. We've had a call almost every other day, so, roughly. So, if you take that, fire calls, 150 calls a year, that's not enough to create a full-time department, it just isn't. So, we would have to take the burden of some of the EMS calls to create a call volume that makes sense. My goal, if we build a station and down the road, would be to continue contracting with Standish for a single per diem, but then also create a position for a per diem spot for that ambulance. So you at least have an ambulance in town that we have, and we have a Standish employee and a Baldwin employee that would run those calls. That would give the burden of half of the call volume to Standish, and then, the other half to us.
Which we're already paying for one.
We are already paying.
One
for
person, not necessarily for, per diem medic or anything
Right.
like that. We're
Right.
paying for one person
One
out of the truck.
Yep.
And I'm sure that Rob would just soon see something up on this end.
Right.
To help relieve him down there.
Right.
I've talked to Rob in the past, so
Yeah.
I do have a little bit, and you probably got just as much.
I work with him every day.
Yeah, I
so.
know.
Yeah.
This is stuff we talked about for a while, and it would help relieve him, which is gonna end up paying a little bit more. But don't forget, we're already paying for a truck and a person,
Yeah.
already.
Well, I think we better get through the station first.
Sure.
And then try to sell that
The
out.
station has to be designed.
With EMS.
With that in mind, yeah.
So that's
So-
coming up, and that's why all the ducks need to get into a row. So
Yeah,
nothing will slip through the crack, and then we're gonna come back 5 years and say, oh, we forgot this.
yeah, right, you have to add on to it.
And it
So
doesn't
it's-
sound like this is gonna happen. I appreciate what you're saying and how you're saying it. I don't think, Wayne, you know, the essence at all.
Right, and I'm gonna be as transparent through this whole process as possible. I want everybody to know what's going on, because it's much as a benefit to you guys as it is to me. I'm a taxpayer, I live in this town, I will be staying in this town, so this all benefits me just as much as you guys. But it's also the safety factor for the guys doing the job. Our stations,
They've
they're
been
not
outdated.
safe.
They've been outdated for a long, long time.
Right.
Well, he's got a design already done, Bruce, and it's got plenty of room for rescue units.
I can show, I got it.
So he's
I can
thinking,
pass it around, you guys can-
he's thinking.
I haven't seen it, but
Yeah.
there again, I have to come into this with an open mind, and as I said, I'm not against what he's saying and doing, but I have not seen it.
Right, no, he's done a lot of work, and,
I know that before you go ahead, and especially if you're going to get money from the government, all of that stuff has to be documented, I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, so I started Susan Collins's CDS process 3 days ago.
So you're a ways to go.
To fill it out, cause it ends today. The application process ended today, and I looked at it like, we don't have generic numbers yet, so I can't even apply for anything, cause I don't know what I'm applying for. So, we decided to ixnay that this year and focus on, okay, let's figure out where we're gonna plan the design phase of things and how we're gonna get there. Then, next year, we'll be able to apply for her CDS funds, or whoever's CDS funds, we can do Shelley Pingree, whoever's we can get funds from everywhere, so we can try every option, but.
They're just throwing money at you.
I wish, but, I think the big point we're gonna have to make is, how are we gonna finance the rest? Because they're not gonna pay for a building for us, they're gonna give us X amount for the building, so do we bond it? Is bonding the best option? It's over 30 years, it spreads the tax bill on not only one set of group of people, but 30 years worth of taxpayers. Do we find like a rural development loan, which is another low interest rate loan, that we could explored? Or do we tell everybody what the tax bill is and hope and pray, which is not gonna happen? So, there's options, but, it's all stuff we have to look into and really take in the information and present it to you guys as much as we can, and as knowledgeable as we can. Joe?
Has it been decided that, we want one station?
So, in the study, it does present two options. A central station, which would be in this area, or two stations in the east and west side. My fear in the two stations is, one, we don't have property for those. Two, now you're doubling the cost. So you're gonna reduce size a little bit, but you're not gonna save overall, you know what I mean? I think you're gonna end up spending more money for two stations than you would one single station. As for like response plans and like getting to certain areas of town, we have significant mutual aid agreements with all of our surrounding towns. Sebago, Hiram, Cornish, Keezer Falls, Leamington, Standish, they're all part of our response plan. I've actually just went through them and updated them again. So we have, right now, we have two, full-time departments that will be responding. Actually, you could consider Sebago 3, but 2.5 departments, that will be responding to all of our structure fire calls as automatic aid, so they will be in every call. And then you have our Hirams, Cornishes, Keezer Falls that are also as automatic aid to calls. But you have a station within 5 miles of almost every part of this town, whether it be our station or a mutual aid station. So I'm not too concerned about, like response-wise, but we also, that then plays into staffing, right? There's really, we have 14 on the department now. Of those 14, we have 7 that drive trucks and can go into burning buildings. The other rest help us with traffic control and ancillary things outside the fire ground. So, again, everybody has a full-time job besides what we do right now, so it all depends on who's here in town at the time and where they're at. So, having those automatic aid departments gives us full-time staff that are at stations that come and help us respond.
And it used to be in the past, Joe, that we'd get a call and, Baldwin would show up. Then after we get there, we'd call mutual aid afterwards, but with his plan, or what it has been, is automatic calls is, all the surrounding towns will get called the same time we do. So, and they're all unresponsive to it. It can always be turned back if they're not needed, but that's where you get like, from North Baldwin end, and you got, Mud City in Sebago, that's pretty close, so it's, you know, their response times.
And we do the same for all of our towns, right?
Yeah.
We're mutual aid for Standish, Sebago, Cornish, Hiram, so if they have a fire, we go to that too, so. It's a, you shake my hand, I shake your hand, we all
Sebago's
help each other out.
Yeah, Sebago's in the same predicament we are with lack of, staffing, you know, so you scratch my back, we scratch yours.
So my second question is, a design for a firehouse, surely somebody's built a firehouse.
Right, right,
You know,
right.
I mean, aren't there like off-the-shelf?
Yes and no. I mean, you could presumably take somebody else's plan. I think in that sense, you still have to buy the design somehow, so there'd be still design fees and design design costs. Cause not every building is the same, or not every building is tailored to, you know, this department might do things different than this department, so the station might be laid out different, might be tailored different, different things. Like, for example, Limerick just built a new station 2 years ago. Very nice, gorgeous station, and they have public water, so their sprinkler system is based off public water. Where here, we would have to build storage tanks so that the sprinklers could function. So there's things like that, you know, design-wise, we would play into specifically the town of Baldwin. So, yeah.
You know, and the company is using, think about using Great Falls.
Great Falls.
They have quite a bit of, they've done fire stations before. I think they did South Portland and.
They've done South Portland, Sanford, not Sanford, South Portland's, Limerick. They're working on Wyndham's new station that they're building, but they built their old central station. A couple in Elliott and up north, but they've done a few fire stations, in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
There's a couple other companies, Benchmark, I haven't looked at a lot of their work, but I wanna explore all these other companies that I've never heard of. I just know Great Falls because I was, at Limerick Station when they unveiled it, so I knew that they did the project, but, there's, like I said, 5 or 6 more departments that.
And the person he's dealing with, she was the Selectmen Hiram, so she knows small town needs.
Yeah, so what they're gonna kind of give us a rough square footage cost of, we have X size building, this is what the square footage cost is, so that we can then base it off of, okay, $600 a square foot, we want a 14,000 square foot building, X amount of dollars, that gives us a rough start of where we're at. And then we can base it off, you know, go from there, so.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you how your drafting skills are. The reason why I'm asking is,
I could show you.
I've been in construction for about 40 years, I'm sure Dale has been too.
Yeah.
Both of us know that you need to start off with a plan that's
Right.
gonna be oranges, apples to apples kind of thing. That's the only thing I would add to it.
So, which is kind of why the design phase has to be first. Right. You can't just go in and
Yeah.
build
I wasn't questioning your design. But I was just wondering how complete they were
Not complete.
for someone to take a look at.
I think it just gives you a rough idea what he's.
Right,
what he's
yeah,
looking
no, I
at.
get it, yeah.
A rough concept.
Right.
The study is gonna direct you or drive you in a certain
Right.
direction
Right.
that's already done.
Right.
So, I mean, that's not gonna change a whole lot, I'm sure some things have, but
Yeah.
overall,
That's right.
you're gonna have to follow that once you start.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask another question you're not gonna wanna answer.
I'll try.
How much?
Rough estimate.
Yeah,
Just based off of what is, some of the stations I've looked at and their areas, for our size, roughly between 5 and possibly 9 million, in that range. Right, right. So it's a big amount, but put it this way, we wait 10 more years, it's gonna be 20 million.
so how many trucks, would that?
That would house every truck we have, so that's 6 trucks, right, currently we have 6 trucks.
With a central fire station, do we need 6 trucks?
Well, so our 6 trucks are, engine 4, engine 5, which are 2 response trucks for structure fires and car accidents. You have tank 1 and tank 2, which is our water trucks, those carry 2,000 gallons of water. So that's what gives us our supply at the scene. And then we have our 2 forestry trucks for our forest fires, which Baldwin has a lot of. Not Baldwin, but the area has a lot of. This would be 5 bays, double, 2 deep, so you could fit 2 trucks in each bay, which would allow us, one, to have a rescue bay for one of the bays, and then potential for, if we really needed to consolidate all the trucks, open bay that would allow for expansion. Like I said, we have 80-year-old buildings now. We would hope that this would last 80 years. So it would allow for the expansion of, if we ever needed a ladder truck, or we ever needed something else in the town, to help us. It would give us that extra room without saying, hey guys, I know I told you it was gonna last 80 years, but we need a new station because it doesn't fit the trucks we have. So this is just giving extra room for the what ifs down 20, 30 years
Sure.
from now.
You don't know what's coming.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I get it.
It allows for, sleeping quarters for when we do go full-time. You'd have two or three rooms, maybe 4. You'd have your training room, so
As long as you have a pole going up, that's all I want.
Certainly. You'd have training rooms, your day room, which would be like your kitchen,
Yes.
hangout room, gear storage, decon room to decon all of your equipment, when you add a structure fire. The big thing we don't have is that, so, we have a washer and a dryer sitting in the bay on a pallet.
Hey, we brought that in from the jail. The washer and dryer.
I picked that up from Dave, something like that.
Well, it was down in Wyndham, but he worked at the jail.
No, that's,
But yeah, so like, there are things that, as Bruce said, the study require, or doesn't require, but suggests, and there are things that NFPA suggests, OSHA suggests, ADA suggests, that we all have to put into play and make it fit, for the station, which also helps with costs.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
That's
it.
what I'm here for.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
the
you.
washer and dryer, that's a must, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have a decontamination area for
Yeah.
all of your
For all
equipment.
the chemicals you get on your gear now, it's you gotta have something that.
All the carcinogens from a fire, just alone.
You got, it has to be on like a separate septic system, isn't it, a separate tank, holding tank?
I gotta read into it.
I think,
I don't think so, but,
I don't think you do. But what you do end up in the building, you're gonna have clean areas, just like you said, you're gonna have contaminated rooms.
right,
You're gonna have a maintenance room with separate, I mean,
Yeah.
you're basically gonna end up with a heating system, it's gonna be one heck of a heating system. Because you've got different zones, and they cannot cross each other.
they gotta keep separate, so
Yeah.
that you're not putting bad air into where you're sleeping.
Right, yeah.
Which could cause cancer to your firefighters and,
Carbon monoxide.
yeah. We would have to add a, air ventilation system in the bays for the fire trucks, so, they attach to the exhaust pipes, so when you take off, it kicks on, sucks all that bad exhaust out of the station, and out of the building
Yeah.
as you take off
Yeah.
out of the station, and then you plug it back in when you get in station, so that you're not taking all that carbon dioxide and bad stuff out of your exhaust and, again, throwing it into where you guys sleep, eat, and hang out.
Those are, when they pull out, it's like, they'll disconnect from the truck.
Yep, it's magnetic onto
Oh, yeah.
the exhaust tank, so, or on the exhaust pipe,
Yeah.
so as you pull off, it just pops off.
Yeah.
Slides on a track,
Oh, yeah.
back and forth, so.
Yeah, this is something that, it's been kicking around for years now. Even when I was a kid, there was talk of having one central station, and back then it was a hard no. So we've come this far, I mean, I was probably 10 years old then, it was like 50 years ago. So, we've come this far anyway, we're talking about it more, but, yeah, but I think it's time now that we do get one and give something new, because these buildings are getting old and obsolete.
Yeah, my goal to start is to show you guys what the impact's gonna be.
Yeah.
What is it gonna do to your taxes? How is it gonna affect your taxes? And how can we reduce it as much as possible so it doesn't horribly affect our taxes? So that, my goal before we really get into the weeds is, I'm gonna lay it out pretty clear, this is what it would be for this much, this is what it would be for this much, and we'll go from there.
will be having informational meetings and
Yeah, 100%.
just to let everybody know what's going on, up to date, you know, so nobody's gonna be blindsided.
And I'll be glad to bring in, you know, somebody from Maine Bond Bank to come talk to everybody so that we can all be on the same page with them, because I'm not a bond expert, I don't know. I also, these builders, they can come, you can have them come in and discuss when that stage comes, so,
Yeah.
as much conversation as we need to have, we can have, go from there.
Just remember, every year that we put it off, it costs that much more.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
It wasn't, when I said, it's quite a few years, he was only talking to me.
Right.
Yeah,
And it went before.
yeah, oh, yeah.
And it's,
COVID really,
it keeps.
So we don't
like
want,
there.
but we don't wanna rush into it either, Bruce, cause you'll
I
get turned down.
I understand that.
You'll get
but
turned down.
Really, what should have happened, and that's in hindsight, which you can't change.
Right.
It should have started way back.
Well, we was waiting for the tip from the solar panels to see if that went through. That is not, I mean, that was kind of driving us, is wait for the solar panel to come in so we can have the tip money.
Did anything ever, is that just dead in the water?
That's just dead in the water right now. I'm not even sure if they even gonna do it or not, so.
Right.
So,
The people down,
yeah, unless they.
down on the higher blind.
Yeah. Yeah, their permit's still open, isn't it? It must be getting close to.
It must be close, I'd have to look, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Got one?
Talk after, I'll be around for a little bit. The other thing is to discuss engine 4's upgrade. I know I wasn't here last year, or last week, but, I know Bob had wanted to talk about where we're gonna pull that from. The reserve or the maintenance reserve?
Oh, good, the upgrade for the truck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To redo the lights on, get the lights upgraded on engine 4.
I think it was reserve, wasn't it?
I know that, he was reaching out to Debbie
Yeah,
to get some figures, so it
Which
wasn't.
he sent over, we got those.
we got those.
Yeah, so I, either way it works, just let me know when to go and I'll go.
I think we was all set and letting them do it, and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was just
Yeah,
a matter of
just which one to
sorting
pull out
out
of, so.
yeah,
which fund it was gonna come out of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mine-
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
When's engine 4 come out of the sequence?
So engine 4 is supposed to be replaced in 2032. Again, and this is a discussion that we haven't gotten too far into, but if we decide to do station, my thought would be, let's hold off on purchasing a new truck. Let's do upgrades to the truck. That way, you know, eventually we have to fix the pump and, you know, things, ancillary things like that.
Get to the.
But the trucks are, we only got 20,000 miles on them. It's not like we use them every day. It's not like we're killing these trucks. Let's upgrade them, get them compliant with NFPA standards, and keep using them. And down the road, after, you know, our big hit is the station, right? If I buy a truck for engine 4, 2032, that's $1 million something for a truck. That doesn't fit in the station we use. So, we're in that same conversation of, okay, now I got $1 million truck that we spent $1 million on, well, now we gotta spend another 10, 20 million.
The only reason I asked that is if it was gonna be, you say, I'm getting rid of it in 2 years.
Right.
Are we putting all this money
Right.
in for 2 years and is it worth it? That's my line of thought. If you
Right.
plan on keeping it.
My
that's
goal
a
is
different story.
I don't think we should be just, NFPA says 20 years you replace a truck. Nobody in rural Maine can replace a truck in 20 years. We just sold engine 1, that's 30-something years, 33 years old. You just have to keep our trucks. This doesn't work. The small towns can't fund NFPA's regulations to the fullest extent. It just doesn't work that way. So my goal would be, let's keep them, let's retrofit them, spend a lot less money than $1 million and fix them and continue with that utilize some of the funds for the station. But, I digress on that.
Yeah, I feel it should come out of the expense account rather than the reserve. I mean, that's what we approved last year for expenses, upgrades, that's what it's for, so.
Perfect.
So we'll have to see what the exact numbers are,
Right.
I think it's about equal in both. Numbers.
No, it's like 41 and 90 or something.
Okay.
Anything else, Ron? You have anything else, Tim?
I think I'm good, if you guys are good.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for letting me, talk about it.
Yeah. Thanks for the comments.
Yeah.
All right, next day. Town garage security update. We got a couple of quotes, one, just one for
Oh, no, that's, oh, yeah, that's,
11,000. But we got this one for Johnson Controls that we've been using. And that was for 3,592, but we're getting a refund from them.
Like $750.
So, yeah, so I think,
So we currently have a contract with them.
yeah.
I move we accept the, Johnson Control proposal and get the town to have the security camera they need.
Yeah, I second that. All in favor? Okay, well, let Chris know, go ahead. Remind us, we got, senior luncheon tomorrow. Joe, you got anything else?
Nope, thank you.
Thank you. Kathy?
Little minor hiccup, there's been somebody that's been maybe sleeping in the gazebo. It looked like they might have tried to get into the building from one of the back windows. Couldn't do it because there wasn't enough space to have a human being crawl in there, unless they were a 7-year-old boy. So that's okay, no, nothing broken, it's just stuff was kind of messed with. So we're keeping an eye on that. We found some bedding in the gazebo, a pillow and quilt.
No kidding.
Yep, so just letting you guys know.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're, still fighting the fight of figuring out the elevator and the air handler. Everything's running at the moment, that's fine, but not great options as to how we're gonna proceed yet. So, working on it.
Yeah.
Robin, +1 on the lunch. Other than that, nope, we're good, thanks.
Okay.
I'm glad you guys are working on the fire department thing, I think it's really important.
Yeah.
I know it's a real tough nut to crack, but,
Yeah.
aren't they all?
Mary,
No, thank you for asking.
Chad?
No.
Bruce? Mary Ellen?
How much was in the warrant? Did you?
39.
39?
Yeah, just line item stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even remember, yeah, no, the light one for sure.
Chop change.
Mileage for our illustrious code enforcement, Xerox quarts of, ink. Yeah. Treasurer of the state of Maine. Little one.
Anything else? Ken? No, all set. Robin?
Good.
Sounds good.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?